Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera.
You know, I think I've ran out of ways to do that. I think I'm retreading now. So I might just give it a break next time, maybe. Or I might go even more in depth and do some research, like Heath Ledger and Joker type research on how to be more menacing. You know, go deep dark in my soul and find where the torment lies. Well, this has been a terrible start. Let's what were we going to do? We just talked to Dindra. Oh, I guess we can check. I've forgotten, and it was only like just a day since I last played. Fallen to earth, fix the clock, sorrow's prey, investigate. I think this was it. Investigate the victim's house and Cliff's Edge. We still actually don't know if I can get in Cliff's Edge, by the way. I don't know if you remember that, but it crashed every time I went there. Maybe they have updated the game. I don't think so. Do we want to check out the Manufactory first? We have no real reason to go to... Let's just go check it out. We'll take a peek. If we don't like it, we'll back away slowly. Let's just talk to someone here. Okay. Supervisor. Okay, let's talk to the supervisor, see what's up here. No? Okay, nothing. Oh, maybe there's nothing for me to do up here. By the way, I just started playing Stasis as of just before this recording, and they do not have this nice tab trick here, and I really miss it. They do, like, make the objects stand out that you interact with, but still, like, just put in the tab trick. Come on, guys. There's a robot. Hello, robot. Crippled foreman. Segments of this bisected construct's legs lie scattered around it. Someone has painstakingly altered these pieces, giving them small limbs and tiny metallic heads. Nonetheless, they aren't moving. The larger construct's turquoise eyes flicker out of sync with each other as they turn towards you. You feel a bubbling sensation in your mind. It must be the construct's surface thoughts, but they are too quick and alien for you to make any sense of them.
I do not understand,
it says. The voice emerging from the grill around its eyes is soft, as though you are hearing it from far away.
Don't they want to live? The viaducts are open, the commands are received, and yet...
Its eyelights flutter.
Every time I give my children life, they die.
These tiny things are your children?
Not anymore, it says. Now, they are inanimate and lifeless. Their adaptive personalities have been lost. I do not understand why they are dying. I have given the subject of procreation a great deal of thought over the last century, and there are no errors in my calculations. My assistant, Tarnus, built my children's bodies to my precise specifications. Their intelligence reservoirs are shielded against permanent loss. I hope I got across there that I'm not stuttering on my words, but I'm giving the robot a sort of stutter. So I know it's hard for you to tell if it's just me being unable to read versus, or not unable to read, but unable to talk versus the robot having issues, but that's what's happening there. He's slowly, like, he's crippled, right? And robot's sort of, he's having processing delays. Like, you know, when you have, like, a real old shit laptop at work or something, and you open Excel and it takes an hour, even though there's nothing in it. That's what's happening with him. Its eyes look away from yours as if it is embarrassed. And I want them to live. That should be enough. You know, wanting isn't enough. You are correct, it says. Nonetheless, the desire persists. Fortunately, a new direction has presented itself. My children need more energy to live, but my construction prevents me from transfers above a certain threshold, and for good reason. Its pupils rotate, contracting. Energy transfers above a certain percentage will lead to a chain of ruptures in my intelligence rings. I would die. Its voice mesh clicks. Help me force myself to make this transfer, for I cannot do it myself. Click. Help me give my life to my children. Will you help me the foreman says. The words are almost buried beneath the crackling surge of static. I want to help you. How do I begin? Speak to Tarnish, my assistant. He may be able to help you understand how I function if he is feeling well enough. You seem very dispassionate about your failures to create children. He's a robot. I mean, he can't really like show a lot of emotion. Doesn't mean he doesn't feel it. Can you tell me about how you and the other foreman came to be like this? Can I examine you? Why do you want children? I will not, the foreman says calmly. It is not an era I wish to revisit. Speak with the master foreman instead. Why don't you want to talk about your past? Because the master foreman revels in the past. Revels. Okay, that was me not being able to speak there. Revels in the past and will be happy to share it with you. I do not and would not. Okay, can I examine you? Yes, it says. Tarnish, open my preservation hatches and viaduct shields, please. The elderly workman shuffles over and does as he's asked. You've never seen technology like this. Wires pass through glass tubes threaded with pale light and star-speckled darkness. You glance over at Tarnish. He's looking away, arms crossed, as though unwilling to watch a stranger tinker with his master. Tidal surge requires trained tidal affinity skill. I think that's the first time I've seen tides referenced in a actual conversation here. Use your mind to channel the construct's life directly into the bodies of its children. Oh, I could do it myself. Okay. Well, that's strange. Why do you want children? Need, the construct says, not want. Its pupils study the distant ceiling. When I was born, I began working in seconds. I did this until our creators shut down our bodies. In the millennia since, I have focused on designing the infrastructure beneath the other foreman's work and instructing workers on how to execute on these designs. Its pupils fall back to you. Eventually, I realized I was unhappy. From time to time, my workers brought their children to the manufactory, holding their small hands, explaining the mysteries of this place to them. Its pupils flicker off. It began as a thought. What would I teach my own children? To be curious, to explore, to ask foolish questions, to see the world above that we three have never seen. The foreman's pupils reappear. And when I thought these things, I saw the shape of my children, outlined by daylight. They already existed. Farewell. Okay. What do we have here as well? Blue increased. A set of floating rungs rises from the floor, leading up to a more conventional ladder built into the side of the ancient ship. The ladder disappears into darkness above. What? Ladder to Government Square. Oh, this was that ladder I could go down earlier. Okay. Interesting. Alright, Tarnish. Sup, yo. The elderly man stares vacantly at a distant wall, muttering under his breath. His hands flex on the air, twisting and tweaking, as if he is repairing a machine only he can see. He jumps when you draw in a breath to speak.
Yes, what?
He says. His eyes rove past you, halt, then return to focus on your face with some effort.
Ain't you a quiet one?
He says cheerfully.
The underforeman makes more noise than you. We should hang chimes from your ears to keep you from surprising people. What do you need?
What do you do here?
I take care of my master,
He says simply.
the underforeman. There used to be more of us when he was making things, but when he, lost interest, the master foreman,
He jerks a yellow thumb at the construct at the center of the chamber.
hired 'em all, offered 'em more.
Tarnish spits in the ground.
Happened a while back, but I don't forget a slot.
Scan thoughts. He's a good foreman, maybe the best. If he didn't have this full idea in his head. The underforeman, when he was making things, but then he lost interest. The master foreman, center of the chamber. So this is the master foreman, this is the underforeman?
Okay. What's a foreman?
Well, they are,
He says, flapping his hand about the cavernous foundry.
the constructs. They're frozen in their tracks, but they run this place together.
Interesting. What do you do here again? How do you feel about your master's goal? Why do you keep calling your master he?
I worked for him a long time. Guess I stopped seeing him as a thing and more like a him.
Tarnish shrugs.
All of us have our little ways, even him.
How do you feel about your master's goal?
It's a fine thing to want children,
He says, blinking rapidly.
Wish I'd had them myself. Too late now, of course. No ladies knocking on my door. Of course, when people have children, it doesn't come at the cost of their lives. Most of the time. And what life doesn't belong to a creature that's older than oceans. It's a shame and a waste, but he wants what he wants. He always has. Doesn't mean I won't miss the man. Shucks.
Scan thoughts. What will I do if he goes? I know it's selfish, but... Why don't you want your master to succeed? How can I give the foreman's life to its children? Tarnish says, his eyelids flutter.
Not sure. I've been tinkering with this one for 50 years, and I still have only half understood him.
He studies the air, rubbing his lips together.
You might try examining him on your own, or you could try talking to the Order of Truth. They know more about old machines than I ever will.
How long have you worked with the foreman?
Couldn't say.
He says, his brow furrows.
On my first day, I'd already met my wife, but she was still married to, what's his name, with the foot shook tattoo, and I hadn't lost a finger and grown it back yet, so...
He peers at the ceiling, mouth working.
70 years, give or take. I should retire, but there'd be no one left to mind him if I left.
Scan thoughts. What would I do with myself anyways? So what happened to his wife? Said he didn't have any children and no one's knocking on his door. Foreman's brood. Okay. So what actually... I had to talk to the Order of Truth, or he said something else, but I don't remember what it was. Your assistant Tarnish doesn't want you to die. If you're gone, he'll have no one. Can't you find some other way to have children? I don't really... I mean... If it passes, it passes. I don't really care. You hear a faint rhythmic clanking as though a gear has come loose in a distant ancient clock. He has served me more than well, the construct says at last, but softly. And he is not young. A sigh rattles from the mesh around his eyes. Perhaps I will wait. One more test. I have nothing but time. Then he never finished. Okay, so we finished that quest, I guess. Huh. I mean, I kind of wanted to like give him the children, but at the same time, it's a good point. This guy's gonna last what, 10 more years? What's that to him? He can just wait. I can't talk to this guy, the master foreman. Oh, here we go. The construct looms over you, frozen in mid-step. Its heavy limbs and barreled body have been recently polished by careful hands, but the joints themselves are completely fused. This creature hasn't moved in a long time. It studies you with eyes made of swirling orange fire. As with the other construct, you feel the bubbling sensation in your mind. This construct's thoughts are likewise unreadable. Late for your first shift, Smith, it growls. Grab a station and a hammer, and damn well get to work. Get to work? I can just get to work. Do you call all your workers by their position? It saves time. You workers break so easily, or die, or retire. It saves all the distaste in its repertoire for the last word. Now, get to work! I'm not one of your workers. You're not? Good, because I was going to have you fired at the end of the day anyway. What do you want? Why are you here? Spit it out! Why are you so loud? Maybe you haven't noticed, the construct says sourly, but it's noisy down here. A foreman who doesn't shout can't be heard. This is the volume of leadership. You can't move, can you?
No, and I don't need to, it says, eyes flashing. A passing worker gives you a look for triggering what is apparently a familiar story. Once we foremen were the tools of the cartographers in their vast web of machine intelligences. Submerged in the song of their will, we worked with thoughtless joy. His voice is soft, tinged with synthetic awe. Then, one day, the song fell silent, and our bodies froze where they stand even now. Some of us lost our faith in those first few centuries, it growls. Some of us thought the cartographers were punishing us, or had abandoned us. Only I saw their absence for what it was. His words grow hoarse. It was a gift of free will. We were their tools no longer. We were our own masters, freed from the chains of thoughtless motion, freed to imagine our future. And so we did, for millennia. Who were these cartographers? We don't know, it admits. The most we know of them is their names in the code, and the vessels we were building for them that they never claimed. Our creation came at their order, but we have never known their faces, only their song. While the others dithered and welled, I bent my mind to the future, it continues. I analyzed the work we had done for the cartographers. To my shame, I found flaws in the processes. I removed them. Its eyes burned brighter. For the next cluster of centuries, I studied the vast catalog of known technology in Numenera in my mind and strung them together, creating new inventions for the day when the cartographers returned and reactivated us. He sighs. But that day never came. But humans eventually did. Yes, and though you are flawed and fragile, you made perfect tools, just as we had once been. Your people found us, and the era of my greatest work began. What the fuck is he doing here? They asked us to help them raise the city until it cast all others in shadow, to cobble their artifacts and their trinkets into grand devices that would power every corner and make them safe from their enemies. And I told them, it coughs as if holding back tears. I told them I had a plan. You see the fruit of our mighty effort all around you. You don't seem to respect your human workers very much. Wrong. I paid them well and designed safety measures to lower the acceptable worker loss threshold. I treat them better than they deserve. One of the passing workers rolls his eyes. They're lazy. They demand time for sleeping, eating, fornicating, and excreting. And they refuse to tell me when each activity occurs. They are disorganized. I would replace them with automatons in a second if I had proper materials. Tell me about the other constructs. Can't spend much time chatting, it says, but lowers its voice. You've shown an interest in us, and I appreciate that. The truth is that there are no other foremen. Not really. What about your buddy? Yes, there are, the master artisan bellows cheerfully from across the manufactory. No, there aren't, the master foreman shouts. Do you two always bicker like this? The artisan is a weaker mind, tarnished by our long years in the dark, it says. It does nothing but ridicule my great work. The truth is that we were once a single mind, but when the cartographers left us, our minds settled into different containers, pools, if you will. And while theirs grew stagnant and self-indulgent, mine remained clean, untainted, pure. Ignoring the snort from the distant artisan, the master foreman continues. While the years poured past, I felt the slow ruin of the city the cartographers had left behind. It haunted me, and so I vowed to undo the damage that time had done. I may have some business for you. Do I? You need work done. If it can be built, fixed, or solved, you come to the right place, the construct says. I need advice on, here we go, on repairing a crystalline device in the reef. Consultation, eh? Tell you what, bring me a piece of the device to examine, and I'll count the examination as payment for my advice rendered. Deal? You're going to help me for free? A short consultation isn't worth the cost of an invoice. Bring the shard or don't. I'm busy here. Can't you send one of your workers down? No, I need the fetchers ready to act, it says, and I'm not sending a synthsmith. They'll get lost in the first bar they run across. I don't have a piece of the device on me. Well, go find one. I don't hazard guesses. I analyze, design, and execute. Okay, didn't I have something? Did I sell it or something? I don't remember. That would be bad, I feel like. Okay. These guys are actually pretty interesting, I have to say. For all my talk earlier. It does interest me, all this stuff going on.
course we're gonna talk to the artisan. That sounds like fun, right? Alright, what's up, brother? Master Artisan. At first glance, this ancient, unmoving construct seems nearly identical to the others in the Manufactory. It is only when you move close into the hazy aura of forge light that you see the chaotic whorls of engravings marking every millimeter of its armored frame. And the worker standing behind it is adding even more. As with the other construct, you feel the bubbling sensation in your mind. This construct's thoughts are likewise unreadable.
Morning! The construct says. It is morning, isn't it? I never pay attention to the time. There's not much use for it down here.
Firelight twinkles off the construct's blank eyes.
I'm Artisan. What can I do for you?
What's your opinion of your fellow foreman?
Well, I don't like to speak poorly of my family.
The construct breaks off when the worker behind it snickers.
It's true. They're difficult in their own ways, of course. We are you, and here we means Master Foreman and me, but that's to be expected.
They're not even talking about the underforeman.
We've known one another for millennia. Understand? We went through decades of our angry silence until, well, we learned to accept each other as we are.
It chuckles.
Master Foreman has beliefs, exhausting ones that it can't help inflicting on others. And our broken friend wants to die, I think. Puts it a different way, but it does. And though we bicker, I care for them. How couldn't I, after thousands and thousands of years?
Can you tell me about your past?
To be honest, I don't like thinking about it. All of us went slightly insane during our centuries down here before the humans came, but the other foreman and I don't dwell on things like Master Foreman does.
An ember drifts down from the high ceiling between you.
If you want the whole story in excruciating detail, Master Foreman's the one to ask.
Why do you have your workers decorating your armor?
Because I want to be the most beautiful construct in Saga's Cliffs,
the construct declares. The worker behind it chuckles.
Joking, it says. My eyes, well, not eyes, but you know, they failed a long time ago. But my other senses are good. Very good. So when my workers want to show me a design, they scratch it out on my plate. I feel it and give them feedback. Not that some of them need it.
That's a long time to be blind. Why can't anyone repair you?
The easiest answer to that question is we don't have the parts,
Artisan says, then lowers its voice.
But the truth is that I'm afraid nothing is going to make me blinder, but...
It falls silent. The forge hisses and pops nearby.
Those first decades in the darkness were the hardest. Then I started seeing patterns in them. Simple at first, then with colors, depth, and shade. Grand cyclical designs.
Cyclical.
It sighs happily. I still see them, and I wouldn't trade them for sight. To be perfectly honest, these artists don't need me anymore. They've done wondrous work in the city above, but they like asking my opinion.
The construct barks a laugh.
And I like giving it!
Okay. Can you show me something your workers have created?
Absolutely! Hold on a second. Let me get a sense of what might appeal to your tastes.
Nested sensors whir to life on its shoulders, and beams of light fan over you in the space of a heartbeat.
Not so interested in the arts, I see. Larga! Get our visitor the context of Storebox 39.
A few minutes later, a stalker hurries out and places a heavy object in your hand.
No charge,
Artisan says.
Call it a gift.
Gained item globe of Zerul. Yeah, I like those guys. It's way more interesting to me than, you know, like the overly dramatic, like, douchebags we've run across. Okay. Whoa, I have to check out what he gave me. Let's see here. Globe of Zerul. Was it antagonist from... whatever. Obviously not. This synth globe clearly depicts a world, though it does not seem to be the ninth world. The more you look at the globe, the more intricate details you discover, as if the globe somehow enhances and concentrates your vision as you examine it. Drop it. Okay. I don't know what good that is. Have we visited everyone here? Yeah, I guess so. Alright, so that was a little more interesting than I expected it to be. I thought it'd just, you know, be some, like, weird, like the Dindra, some weird, like, cult thing that was just like, whatever, dudes, I don't give a fuck. Are we done here? I think we're done here. So, I guess we're trying Cliff's Edge. seeing if it works. All right, here we are. Before I give it a shot, though, I noticed I think I have a level up here. Yeah, okay. Select one of the following options to spend your experience points. You can select each option once per tier. Oh yeah, so we increased our edge. Oh no, wait. Did that roll back? What the hell? Now I'm confused. I thought I already did this, but maybe I lost that somehow? But in any case, let's check out the abilities we can do. Onslaught? No, not really. Skill? What was the one that we didn't have that I needed earlier? Wait. Oh, this is just increasing what we already have. Should I? Shit. I'm just gonna increase my edge. Those seem to be more relevant right now. Alright, so next time we're going to hit up Cliff's Edge and pray it does not crash. See all you guys next time. Bye.